Hi, this is Rob Polinick from C3 Method. My workout today was rear delts and back. I started with rear delts doing a superset. I was doing cable reverse flies, supersetted with Grimes raises. I've mentioned these before, but they're from a bodybuilder named Regan Grimes, and his coach at the time was Milo Sarchev. And they were doing this variation of a lateral raise and high row that I thought was awesome, and it targets really well into the middle and lower traps, and that complements very well to the rear delts. So basically from shoulder to shoulder, you're working on thickness across that whole area, and I love starting with that because that's a place in my body that's underdeveloped. So I want to give that maximal attention, and I love the stimulus of those two things combined. I then moved on to one arm reverse flies, and this was more of an isolation into just the rear delt, and I like this variation because it overloads the stretched position, and that is a good complement to the cable reverse flies, which similarly does the same. However, I like the isolative focus with the one arm, so I can kind of find my position and just further damage the rear delts. It's probably a little bit of overkill, but I don't care. I like it. And I've never heard anybody say that they have too big of rear delts. So it adds really nice thickness to the shoulder, not only when you view from the side, but also from the front. The thicker rear delt you have, it does actually give you more width. So I like doing a lot of rear delt work. I then moved on to my lats. I was doing the cable, half kneeling, one arm pull downs, really focusing on trying to drive my elbow down into the ground and then actually pulling my hand into my chest. So I want to go down and actually into my body. And for me, I feel that that contracts my lower lat very well. I then, as an intensifier, added some assistance from my other arm to get a full contraction, and then I was very slow on the eccentric, and on the last set and the last eccentric, I actually stayed in a stretch position for a 10 count. So that was a really good one to build up the lower lats, which I want to help build up just to build up my V-taper. If I play around with some posing and doing a rear double bicep, it helps with that. Just the more lower lats you have, it tends to just help overall aesthetics outside of even just poses for bodybuilding shows. I then moved on to head-supported rows with the Smith machine I have here at home. I got a Smith machine attachment for our squat rack, and I love playing around with it with different movements. And one of the ones I love for the back is this version of a bent over row. With the head support, it keeps my movement more strict than if I were to just do it with a regular bar or just a normal standing position. The strictness I like because it ensures that I'm using more of my back and less momentum. I do come up pretty quick on the contraction, but then I try to resist the eccentric. I will use the speed, the extra speed on the concentric, to be able to push my concentric strength closer to matching the eccentric strength. We are actually stronger on eccentric loads than we are on concentric phases of movements. So rather than just failing whenever the contraction fails, I want to push the muscle further into fatigue. So I'll play around with my tempo, or like on the kneeling one arm pull downs, I used actually another limb for assistance. I'll do what I can to push the contractile strength closer to the eccentric strength to just get a better overall growth stimulus. I then finished with cable seated rows, and the main focus on this is just making sure that my shoulder blades are stretching and contracting. I'm not worrying so much about the handle actually going far away from me and getting close to me. I'm not really paying too much attention to what my hands are doing. I'm actually focusing on the middle of my back and thinking of opening my shoulder blades and closing my shoulder blades. And whatever full range of motion I feel like I can get out of those is what I aim for in that movement. Overall, this was an awesome workout. Around 24 total sets, which is actually pretty normal for me for this version of a workout where I'm doing the rear delts and back together, and especially the back considering I'm trying to target the lats and the upper back in one workout. If you give it a try, I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. And thank you for watching.